Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily News Quiz Analysis for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 10th December today, and in this video we are going to solve different types of questions which are very much relevant for your preparation if you are preparing for UPSC 2025 prelims or you are preparing for any state civil service exam. Then this video is going to be very much important for you. Before we will start our discussion, I would like to give you the brief introduction about the video so that you will get more connected with it. You know, in this video, we solve different types of questions. If we will break those questions, it will come into three subsets. In the first set of questions, we discuss the questions related to the current affairs. What we do? We take up the most important articles from the newspapers. We try to break them down into the simplest language possible, and we derive the prelims based questions from those articles which are very much relevant for you. It gives you the idea how the questions can be asked from these current affairs topics. So in this way it becomes important for you. So this is the first set of questions which we discuss here. In the another set of questions, we discuss questions from the static part. As you know, if you had followed me, you would definitely know that we had started discussing the static part also here, and we had started with Indian polity. Right now we are discussing DPSPs, and in this we are going to frame a prelims based question from each article here and discuss that and give you the idea how the questions can be asked from such discrete topics. So this is another set of questions which we discuss here. you know After discussing the questions with respect to the current affairs and from the static part, we will shift our approach at the end of our discussion towards the previous year questions. We will solve some previous year questions too and get the idea how the questions do actually come in the exam and what can be the ways and methods by which we can solve these questions. So this is in a nutshell about this video what we discuss here. Now, before we'll start solving these questions, I would like to request you a few things which I should, if I was at your place, I would definitely follow, which I believe are very much extremely important for you. First of all, if I was at your place, what I will do, I will start noting down these questions. I will make a question bank of my own, and when the exams would be very much near, when there would be 1 month gap for our exams, what I will do, I will start revising these questions. At that time every student wants to revise everything what they had read, but practically it is very much impossible because you have to go through various sources. You have to go through huge sources of materials. So at that time it gets very difficult to revise the current affairs, to revise the static part, and it becomes very much extremely difficult to go through the previous year questions. But if you have these questions with you at that time, you just have to go through these questions would definitely connect you with the current affairs. They will connect you with the static part also, and they will also connect you with the previous year questions, and it will be the best way in which you can revise your whole syllabus in the shortest amount of time, so shortest period of time. So this is the best way to revise your syllabus. So if I was at your place, I would definitely keep the note of these questions. I will definitely keep these questions with me. So I would like to request you guys to keep these questions with you, to at least take the screenshot of these questions. And another thing I would like to mention here, please do subscribe the channel and share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative. And also please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you. If we are lacking anywhere, please do write in the comments. You are open to criticize us, but be little respectful in that, because we don't want to get demotivated. We want to improve ourselves, but at the same time we don't want to get demotivated. Please criticize us, be respectful in that, and please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you guys. Now with this, without any delay, let's start solving these questions one by one. Here the first question, it talks about the merchant shipping in India. Let's see what does the question say. It says, which of the following acts primarily govern merchant shipping in India? You may ask me, sir, what is the need for this question? Why we had brought this question out from nowhere? What was the reason to discuss this question here? To answer this question, we have to go through the newspaper today. Let us see what was in the newspaper. In the newspaper, there was a huge discussion about the what are the legislations which govern our merchant shipping and the coastal shipping, and what are their drawbacks, and how the government is looking to introduce new bills which are going to amend, which are going to replace the earlier existing legislations which we have right now. Here, if we talk about the merchant shipping and the coastal shipping, if we will trace them, we will go back. For the coastal shipping, we will go back to the colonial era when those laws were enacted, and we are still governed by those laws. And to be honest, if we read those laws with respect to the present time, they are very much outdated. They definitely need the repairment. They definitely need the amendments to the highest level, and to go through so much amendments, it is practically impossible. So it is better to replace those laws, and this is what the government is thinking right now. And if we look at the legislations which govern the coastal shipping, we'll definitely find out that they were meant for the colonial interests itself, and we still have that colonial hangover. So it is time to replace them. And if we will start attributing what are their drawbacks, first of all, we will see that they are highly outdated. We will see the norms which we follow right now. For example, we follow those environmental norms. We believe in saving the environment. They are not mentioned anywhere in those laws. Those laws did not explain those environmental laws, how we can protect environment, where should we dump our wastes when we are where we should dump those shipping wastes, and all that stuff. And also it is very much, if we will go through those sections in those earlier legislations, we will definitely find that it has been a headache for our country to go through the repairment of the ships. Also, the flagging of the ships is one of the issue. If any ship is flagged outside India, if Indian flag is not there, if it is not flagged in India, then it becomes very much difficult for the ships to get repair. It gets very difficult for the registration of the ship. So it has been an headache for the customers. It has been a headache for the ship industry. So it is right time to amend those laws, to replace those laws with what the government is thinking right now about the merchant shipping laws 2024, and also about the coastal shipping bill of 2024. These laws are going to replace the drawbacks which were early, which we are having right now by as we are using the earlier legislations which were in the which were in the law books. So this is in a nutshell about this article, what was in the news, what is important for us to know, what were the drawbacks, as environmental norms is an issue, as flagging is an issue, how the NRIs were not allowed to have the registration of ships if they have foreign flagged ships, how they faced the issues, how the foreigners faced the issues with respect to the registration, with respect to the repairment. All those issues would be studied, and those issues would be sorted out by introducing the new laws, especially the shipping merchant shipping law 2024, and also the coastal shipping bill of 2024. They are going to replace all those issues. Now let's try to solve these questions and get more idea about it right now, what we are following. Here the question says, which of the following acts primarily govern merchant shipping in India? About merchant shipping in India, which of the act governs it? Is it Indian Ports Act 1908? No, it is not that. Is it Coastal Regulation Zone Notification 2011? No, it is not. Is it Admiralty Act 1860? It is neither it. Is it the Merchant Shipping Act of 1958? 100%. It is Merchant Shipping Act of 1958 which governs merchant shipping in India. So with respect to this question, the correct answer is option B. Now coming to the another question, it is with respect to the coastal shipping in India. It says, which of the following acts primarily govern coastal shipping in India? Is it Indian Ports Act 1908? No. Is it Merchant Shipping Act 1958? No. Is it Coast Regulation Zone Notification 2011? No. Is it Coast Vessels Act 1838? 100% true. For the question number 2, the correct option is option D, which is the Coast Vessels Act 1838. So by solving these questions, I hope you had got the basic idea what we have right now, what legislations we do follow with respect to the merchant shipping and the coastal shipping, and what are the drawbacks, in nutshell, what are the major drawbacks in these laws, and what would be the amended laws, what would be the replacement laws for them. So we had, I hope we had, I was able to give the basic introduction about that, and in coming classes we would definitely have to discuss much about that. So with this, I hope you had understood the topic very well. And here I would like to mention one thing which is very important about our initiative. If you will think about our initiative, it is not just a question answer session, it is not just a quiz here, it is more than a quiz. Here in these questions we don't just discuss these questions itself, but we go through the context of these questions, why we are discussing these questions, what is the reason, what was in the news. So it makes it a news analysis also. So here in this video, you don't only I don't only give you the daily quiz but also the news analysis. So it is better for you, by it is very much, it becomes very much important for you if you had not read the newspaper. So while if you will go through these videos, it will definitely cover your most important articles which were in the news. So with this, let's move to the another question and try to solve that. Here the question is about Article 38 of the Indian Constitution directs the state, as it is the part of the directive principles, DPSPs. So you may ask me, sir, even though we are discussing directive principles right now, but why we had brought this question in the current affairs session? What was the need? Here we should have some another question which would be related to the current affairs topics. But why we had brought Article 38 right now here? But to answer this question, we have to go through today's newspaper, which definitely talks about the over exploitation of Indian workforce. Now when we will discuss this topic which was in the news, over exploitation of Indian workforce, you will definitely find a need of this article which we had framed. You will definitely connect it, why we had framed this question here. In the today's news article, there was an article about the over exploitation of India's workforce, how Indian workers are getting over exploited, how there is toxic work culture in our country, how workers have throughout the world, how workers are enjoying different rights in Western world, and how the Asian countries, especially Asian countries, are having the toxic work culture. If we talk about this toxic work culture, it is not only confined in India, but it is we can say it is much confined in Asia. We would see Japan, they have worst work culture. We would see China, they have worst work culture. And there is one thing, it lies in our psyche, that if we will work hard, we will achieve heights in our life, in our career. But it is somehow good, we have to work hard, but how much we have to work hard, how much is enough, how much we have to work hard. If for example, if there are two persons who are working for the same company, they have same assignment, and one is able to do it within 2 hours, and another guy, he is able to do that same work in 8 hours. We can't say that the person who is working for 8 hours is working hard. There is vast difference between working hard and working intelligently. So what we should have, what culture we should have, it is totally different than what we are having right now. We believe in that there should be much work hours. Work hours for the employees should be high. We are highly exhausting our employees. Our employers are highly exhausting our employees, and if we will compare that with the Western world, we will see vast difference. In the Western world, especially in countries like France, Portugal, Spain, Australia, we would definitely see that especially in France, they had framed the laws with respect that if any employee, he is after his work is done, for maybe it would be for 4 hours or eight hours, after his work is done, he is not liable to answer to his employee. Even though if his employee will call him, he has all the rights to switch off his phone, he has all the rights to not answer his call, and he would not be in any way involved in the company after his work hours. So this is the work culture which is in the Western world, which is followed. And also it is believed that different reports have come out especially from the Harvard business, they had reviewed about it, and they had said that if there is less mental pressure on the employee, his work efficiency increases. Indirectly, it is saying that if we are going to put more mental pressure on the employee, the work efficiency he will have will definitely reduce. But different countries in the western world, they are following, they have the best work culture, but unfortunately in the Asian world, in the India right now, we have the worst work culture. We believe that those who work for 8 to 12 hours, they are hard working, and those who work for only few hours but they yield the same result, they are not believed to be hard working. So this is the issue in our country. These issues are to be, resolved by the government. And with respect that, we have these directive, we have some articles which are related to it, especially the article 38 in the DPSPs, which directed the government to look after the welfare of the people. In the welfare of the people also lies the welfare of the workers, whose welfare they have to look after. They should, it is believed that the government should come up with the laws. It should regulate the companies with respect to the working hours of the with respect to the working hours of its employees. So this is in nutshell about this article. Now we need to know about more about article 38. We need to understand it. What does it say? How is it is important? How does it, we can connect it with the welfare of the workers? Here the question says Article 38 of the Indian Constitution directs the state first secure a social order based on individual liberty. No, it is not. What does it direct? Second, it says promote the welfare of the people. 100% correct. It says the promote the welfare of the people by securing and protecting a social order in which justice, social and economic and political, shall inform all the institutions of the national life. So this is what the article says itself, that the government, they should promote the welfare of the people by securing and protecting a social order in which social justice would be given, economic justice, political justice, everything would be given to the people. In this to promote the welfare of the people, it also includes the welfare of the workers. The companies, the government should go for the regulation of the companies, in which they will regulate the working hours for the employees, how they should work and how they can reduce this toxic work culture. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option B. I hope by solving this question you had understood the question itself, and also you had got the basic intro about why we had brought this question here. Now with this, let's move to the another question and try to solve that. Here the question is about the relationship between the food insecurity and energy insecurity. You know, right now the world is going through different crises. We are going through a time where the food insecurity is one of the major issues. With respect to the food insecurity being itself, the energy insecurity is also one of the major issues, because of the how the world is going through right now. We have different countries are going, major countries are going through wars, especially the Russia Ukraine war, the war in the Middle East. So it has definitely impacted the food security as well as energy security. Here in this question, here actually this article, it basically talks about how this food security and energy security is relevant to each other. If we talk about the food, what we are eating right now, it is believed that from 2020 to 2023, about 11.8% of the global population suffered from food insecurity. So how is it related to the energy insecurity? If we talk about the food is very much food security. It is, food is an agricultural productivity. It is very much dependent on agriculture. And if we talk about agriculture, it puts huge strain on the environment, and there are certain inputs which are needed for the agriculture. For example, we need better seed quality, we need fertilizers, we need logistics, we need post harvest management, we need different things for the agriculture, we need different things for the food security. And if we look at that, what are the things which we require? For example, we need irrigation. For the irrigation, we need water dams. For that we need generators, and for that we need electricity, and for electricity we need fossil fuels. So we are highly, these two things, food insecurity and energy insecurity, they are highly interdependent. And also, it is not only about the generation of fertilizers or generation of or the irrigation. It also, it is for the transportation we also need energy security. So in if we conclude it, if we will sum it up, we will find out that in every aspect of the food insecurity, the food security, the energy security is very much needed. So if anything happens to the energy, if anything unusual happens to energy, it will definitely impact the food security of the world. So this is the relationship between the two. So by solving this question we will get more about it. Here the question says, which of the following best describes the relationship between the food insecurity and energy insecurity? First statement: they are unrelated issues with distant causes and consequences. Totally incorrect. They are definitely related. Second: energy insecurity can exacerbate food insecurity by increasing the cost of food production and transportation. 100% correct. It can definitely impact food insecurity by increasing the cost of food production and transportation. Statement C: food insecurity can lead to energy insecurity. 100% correct. By reducing agricultural productivity. 100% correct. And increasing demands for energy intensive food imports. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are option B and option C. So this is how they are related. By solving this question, I hope you had understood the relationship between the two, and also the context. In the context part, I had discussed why we are discussing this question. What is the major relationship between the two? Now with this, let's move to the another question and try to solve that. Here the question is about the indiscriminate use of antibiotics in animal husbandry can lead to. This use of high use of antibiotics, whether it would be in animal husbandry or it is with respect to the humans, it is very much detrimental to the well-being of both the two. If these antibiotics are used extensively, this leads to the antimicrobial resistance, and it has huge impacts. In today's newspaper, it gave us how it has impacted the animal husbandry, how it has and it has given us data how it majorly impacts the sheep industry, which in the sheeps we had found out that 140 milligrams of antibiotic residue is found in sheep. And if minimum, we would see the minimum antibiotics biotics residue which is found in, that is in chicken. So this shows how it has impacted, how the antibiotics are used extensively in the animal husbandry, and how it has created different issues in the humans which are consuming them, and also in the animals too. We are consuming these antibiotics, we are consuming these animals who are fed with the antibiotics, and this definitely impacts our health. It definitely leads to different diseases, from the bacterial diseases to the non-communicable diseases like cancer and all that stuff. So it is the this article, it actually warns the world that how it warns the government, it warns the world how this antibiotics in animal husbandry can impact the human life. How we think that let's use them in the animal husbandry, it does not just remain there, it also impacts the human life. So with this, I hope you had got the basic idea about it. Now let's solve this question. Very simple and straightforward question. It says the indiscriminate use of antibiotics in animal husbandry can lead to increased resistance to antibiotics in both animals and humans. 100% correct. So second, improved animal health and productivity. No, it may seem that it is improving animal health, but extensive use, it will definitely deteriorate the animal health and also the productivity. Reduced environmental pollution. No, definitely it has the least impact on the environmental pollution. Lower costs of animal production. Not that too. It is not the lower costs of animal production. So the major impact of antibiotics in animal husbandry can lead to increased resistance to antibiotics in both humans and animals, which is very much detrimental for the both. So with respect to this question, the correct option is option A, which is increased resistance to antibiotics in both animals and humans. So by solving this question, let's move towards the last question of another question of today's discussion with respect to the current affairs. Here the question is about the consider the following statements regarding the Schengen zone. Why it is in news? Because there are two countries which had joined the Schengen zone, which are Bulgaria and Romania. They have become the full members of the Schengen zone. This is very much important. What this Schengen zone area is, the Schengen, it it allows for passport free travel and participation in the free movement of the people within it. So it is an area, it is found in the European Union, how these countries travel in the Europe, how these countries travel between how these countries travel in each other's territory without the use of the passports, how the borders are open there. So this is with respect to it. And in the Schengen zone, especially the countries from the European Union, but there are two countries which are not from the European Union itself, which are not part of the Schengen zone, which we should know. They are Cyprus and the Ireland. They are not the part of the they are part of the European Union, but they are not part of the Schengen zone. And also, there are few countries which are not the part of the European Union, but they are the part of the Schengen zone. For example, EFTA members, or they are not the part of the European Union, but they are the part of the Schengen zone. Those countries are Iceland, Liechtenstein, and two other countries, uh, which are out of my mind, but I will definitely inform you about that. Those countries are the countries from the EFTA. They are the part of the Schengen zone, and they are not the part of the European Union. And those countries are Iceland, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, and Norway. You know, those are the countries which are the part of the EFTA, but are not the part of the European Union. So this Schengen zone. It is it helps them to travel freely without the passports within each other's territories. So with respect to this, let us try to solve this question and get more idea about it. Why we had discussed this, because two countries became the part of it. What are those two countries? It is Bulgaria and Romania. So let's solve this question. Statement 1, it says the Schengen area allows for passport free travel across member countries, including those outside the European Union. 100% correct. Nothing wrong with this statement. Statement 2, Ireland is a member of the Schengen zone and participates in the free movement of the people within it. No, Ireland is not the member of the Schengen zone. It is the member of the European Union, but not the member of the Schengen zone. Third, the Schengen area was established as part of the Maastricht Treaty in 1992. Totally incorrect. It was established by the Schengen Agreement in 1985. So this is also incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option D, which is 1 only. So by solving this question, I hope you had got the basic idea about the Schengen zone and also why it is in the news. What are the recent developments with respect to it. Now, by solving this question, let's move to the another question and try to solve that. This is the last question with respect to the current affairs. Now, with respect to today's current affairs, let's try to solve this question. Let's see what does it say. Here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. In this year's summit is going to be held in Saudi Arabia. It is going on, and it becomes important for us to understand what this United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification is about. UN summit is being held in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. So about the now let's try to solve the question first and get more idea about it. About the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, it aims to combat desertification and mitigate the effects of drought through sustainable land management. 100% correct. Second, it was adopted in 1992 at the Rio Earth Summit. Totally incorrect. It was adopted in 1994, not in 1992. So this is totally incorrect. It was adopted in 1994 after the Rio Summit. Statement 3, the convention's secretariat is located in Nairobi, Kenya. Totally incorrect. It is located in Bonn, Germany, not in Nairobi. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is only statement 1. Why it is in news? Because this year's summit is being held in Saudi Arabia in Riyadh. So after solving this question, I hope you had got the basic idea about what was in the news today. We had discussed the various important questions which are relevant for your preparation. I tried my best to get the best questions from today's discussion from the today's newspapers. Now after this, let's shift our approach towards the static part. Let's try to solve today's static question, and after that we will solve the previous year question. Here today's static question is from the DPSPs from the Indian polity. It is Article 37. As yesterday we discussed about Article 36. What does that say? That describes the state as mentioned in Article 12. So here today the question is about the Article 37. Let's see what does the question say. Question says, consider the following statement regarding Article 37 of the Indian Constitution. First statement, it says Article 37 deals with the application of directive principles of state policy in the governance of India. 100% correct. It deals with it. It says that these directive principles it should be kept in the consideration while in the governance of the India. Second, the provisions of the directive principles of the state policy are enforceable in court of law under Article 37. Totally incorrect and totally opposite. According to Article 37, the provisions of the directive principles of state policy are not enforceable in a court of law under Article 37. It says the provisions of the directive principles are not enforceable in any court of law. Third statement, it says Article 37 makes it clear that the directive principles are fundamental in the governance of the country, but they are not legally justiciable. 100% correct. So by solving this question, I hope you had got the basic idea about Article 37, which you should know about it. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 3 only, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option C. So by solving this question, let's move towards the last part of our discussion, where we will solve the previous year question and we will conclude our discussion by that. Here the question is about the Swadeshi and boycott were adopted as a methods of struggle for the first time during what? Why were they how the question is here describing the Swadeshi and boycott were adopted as methods of struggle. They were adopted as methods of struggle for the first time during what phase of the British India? These Swadeshi and boycott, Indian people started to boycott when it started, and these methods were used for the struggle during what phase of the British government? Is it agitation against the partition of Bengal? Let's keep it here. Is it home rule movement? It was introduced way before. Is it non-corporation movement? Cooperation movement, it was introduced way before, but non-cooperation movement was the systematic way it was done. Third, visit of the Simon Commission to India, it was introduced way earlier than this. So the correct answer to this question is option A. The Swadeshi and the boycott were adopted as methods of struggle for the first time during the Indian independence. During the Indian struggle of Indian independence was introduced it was first time introducing against the agitation against the partition of Bengal. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option A. So by solving this question, I hope you had got today's previous year question too. Now by this I would like to say goodbye to you. I hope you had understood today's discussion. I hope I was able to clearly explain what is in the news. I was able to clearly explain today's static topic and today's previous year question. By this, let us say goodbye and see you tomorrow. Take care.